There's no material per se in here, but I do have a registration card that I filled out that we'll go through today and enter it as an exercise. So what I have been asked to do today is to really focus on the basics of what an agent will need to do and walk you through that as an exercise and then turn it over to you to do that as well from your registration card. So what I'll be doing here is I'm going to go through and enter a lead from the registration card that I have, and I'm going to log in as Lisa, if that's okay, and then I'll delete the information after we do it, because I want you to see the list of communities, your list of communities and everything in there as I do this. And then what I'm going to do after I create that lead, we're going to go through and see kind of what happens after that lead gets created. So an automatic email is going to go out. We're going to see that. And you can I'm going to show you how to preview that email before it goes out, and then show you what the follow-up plan next steps look like, and then what to expect for those plans. And then I'll go ahead and let you guys enter leads from your registration cards. That, Gary and I talked yesterday, and he said that you were going to bring some real registration cards to the training, and you would enter them, and then you can ask me questions as you enter the lead. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to handle a lead that comes in from the website, because you're going to get leads coming in from the website. You may have already received notifications that you've gotten leads from the website, and I'll show you what to expect when you get those leads. Okay? And then specifically, Lisa had asked me to show you how to add a follow-up plan to an existing lead, find and update the history, set tasks to complete, and then this is really critical, is to go in and update the status of a lead when they sign a contract, when they close on a home. And one thing that a lot of people forget to do is when they have gone and bought from somebody else or have decided not to buy, to set that lead status to lost, because then it kind of cleans everything up for you and gets it out of your hair and off your dashboard. It also reports back to management on what has happened there. So unless anybody has any objections to this agenda, I'll get started. Does anybody have any comments about it?
We're
okay.
Good, Dave.
All right. Just let me know if you do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to flip over to this registration card, and this is one I filled out as myself, registering at one of your models. And we're going to do the Bridal Creek example. And again, I'll go back and delete this when I'm done. I'm going to need a little bit of help. I'm not sure what happening means, but when we get to this, maybe you can walk me through what that means, and I'll enter the information as we go. Okay? So I'm going to bounce back and forth from the registration card to the actual software itself. So I'm going to log in as Lisa. I assume everybody knows how to log in. By the way, GoToMeeting makes this demonstration a little bit slow, and I apologize for that, but it tends to do that sometimes. Just in case you haven't done this, after you log in, under the Setup menu, you can go to My Profile, and you can change your alert preferences. So how do you want to be alerted when tasks are past due? Can be set here as an example. And make sure your email address is correct here, because that's how you'll be getting your email alerts. And then if you need to change your password, you can change your password here as well. Okay? So Lisa, I'm not going to change your password for you. But if you have any questions about that, let me know. I just wanted to point that out at the beginning of this presentation. Okay, so here we are. When you log in, the first thing you see is your dashboard. And what you'll do if you have a registration card that you need to enter is you'll go to quick links and say new lead, okay? And I want to be very clear about something because this happens sometimes. You're not going to create a new contact. You're going to create a new lead. It's a new opportunity for you, okay? And so what I will do from the registration card, and this is my recommendation, you can do it how you think you need to do it, but I work with a lot of builders that work in multiple communities, and I help train them and support them, and this is my recommendation.
I have no idea.
We got some people talking in the background. Maybe we can mute that because I'm worried about the recording here not being auditable. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to enter this lead, and what I would recommend is I would go ahead and say Bridal, is it Bridal Creek, so you'll know right off the top what the community is. The person's name, it could be the couple, it could be like the Knowles family as an example. I'm going to put my name here. And then maybe a little bit of information that'll help you understand what the lead is about. Quick move in, as an example. Now this is going to be a completed spec because they want a quick move in as the lead type versus a semi-custom or a custom. And then you want to give it a little description about what they're looking for. So in this case, they want a quick move in, and they're looking at the Van Gogh plan. So I would say Dave wants a quick move in and is interested in the Van Gogh plan. So that kind of narrows it down pretty tightly there, because if you have a completed Van Gogh in Bridal Creek, well, that's probably the only option here in this case, but it gives you good information about what they need. And then I'm going to select the community that they're interested in. Now, in your list, Lisa has access to all the communities because she's a manager, but in your list, you will only see the communities that you're assigned to. So if you don't see one of your communities in this list, you need to let somebody know, Lisa or myself, and we'll add you to that community. But again, this list will only include the communities that you're assigned to. So don't freak out if you don't see all the communities. And at this point, they're still just a prospect, and you look at their priority and say, okay, well, this guy's ready to buy now in this case because he wants a quick move in. And then, okay, Sherry doesn't have any communities assigned to her. We'll take care of that. I'll take some notes down. Thanks, Sherry. We can change that as part of the exercise here. And this is very important. I wanted to call everybody's attention to the source here because how they found out about you is really critical for analyzing your marketing efforts and your advertising campaigns. And so what you'll want to do is you'll want to mark how they found out about you. And let's say in this case, you know, they let's pick a good one here. They did a search on the internet, and that's how they found out about us. And I didn't see that on the registration card, but you might want to ask them so you know how they found out about you. It's critical information. Now I'm going to go ahead and go down here, and I'm going to put the name in here. Let's do this for fun. And then their contact information, which is pretty obvious. I mean, you don't need to watch me do the data entry, but I'll do it for demonstration purposes here. Now, we've got the cell phone, we've got their email address on the registration card. Oops. Okay. So Dave K at TopBuilderSolutions.com. Okay.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Sure.
I've got 3 people that are trying to get on,
to the webinar but are unable to. Is it closed now?
It's not closed, and there's plenty of room, so I'm not sure why they can't get in.
Okay,
I'm guessing maybe they didn't take the secondary or just click on and accept the second invitation that came out. That just came out again yesterday.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Gary, you're probably right. It may be the wrong meeting because I, frankly, goofed up the time, and I'm sorry for that. But
no, that's okay. So no, they're all. I've got 3 of the 4 in my office, and they're fine with just kind of looking over my shoulder here. So we're good with that. And then maybe for Luann, though, we might want to just be able to get her in because she's not at the office.
Okay, do you want me to wait for a second?
Well, if we're recording it, they can just watch the recording as well. So keep going.
Okay. All right, I'll keep going. Okay, so I have filled out the information I have, the basics, the contact information, everything from the registration card. I wanted to draw your attention down here. Now, by default, we haven't sent any newsletters out yet, but we have a newsletter as part of the software, and by default, they'll be added to the newsletter. So you don't have to worry about that unless they specifically said, don't add me to the newsletter. Now, we have a couple follow-up plans already built, and I think Lisa spent some time on this. But the first plan, which is the default, is the model walk-in plan. So, if somebody comes in, they fill out a registration card, well, yeah, that's the plan that we're going to apply, and it's going to be applied by default. You can go in and look at the steps on that plan to see what the steps are by clicking on this button, View Follow-Up Plans. But you'll also be able to see those tasks after we create this prospect. So if nobody has any questions about this screen, I'm going to hit enter more information, and I'm going to go into the actual detailed information for that prospect. So we have more information that we can enter here. This person was represented by a Holly Winsmer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and see if that agent is in the system right now and do a search. Okay, she is not in the system, so I'm going to go ahead and add her as a new agent. Okay, and if let's say she dropped a card on my desk when she came in, and that card had her mobile number. I'm going to make one up. Okay, and then now I have her contact information as well and her email address if she provided that too. So now the agent is associated to this lead, and then you can go in and enter additional information about what they're looking for. In this case, they were looking at they wanted the Van Gogh plan. Okay, and if you have inventory, maybe the Van Gogh plan has been built or is almost done at a particular address. You can say, 123 Main Street, whatever. That's the one you're looking at. Now, here's the tasks that are generated for this new prospect. You can see here that one of these tasks is an automated email that's going to go out automatically to the person that filled out that registration card. If you want to see what these emails look like, there's a link under the automated email column here, and you can click on that, and you can see that this email is going to be addressed to my first name that I filled out in the registration card, and has this information on it. This is exactly how they'll see the email. So you can preview the emails that are going out, and you can also, if we have other automated emails that are more than just a welcome email, we may automate some emails down the road. You can also see what those look like before they go out, which is a really handy option for you, so you don't get any surprises when the client gets these emails. Okay. Now, if they came in with a spouse, I'm going to jump over to additional contacts. You may add the spouse information in here, okay, and, you know, their contact information, whatever that is. Now you have the spouse on there. If they have a lender, you can add the lender, or family members, you can add them to the lead, and now you have all the contacts for that lead, and when the emails go out, they go to the primary contact, they go to the agent, and all the additional contacts as well. So everybody's covered on those follow-up emails. Okay. Now there's history. Okay, that's interesting. That welcome email went out. Okay, so that welcome email that I just showed you was just sent at 2 minutes ago, and you can view that as well. You can see what that email looked like after it goes out. But it's really nice to be able to see the history that email went out, and you'll also be able to see if they opened the email or clicked on that email as well in the history too, which is kind of nice. So, okay. Now there's some additional information on this card that maybe somebody can help me with. Can you give me an example of happening? Maybe Gary or Lisa can tell me what that means so I can enter it in here. Are you guys there?
Sorry, Dave. I missed the question. I'm writing stuff just from things you just mentioned.
Oh, no worries. I'm looking at the registration card, and one of the areas on the registration card says happening. I'm not sure what that means.
Yes, Rod Boone is now on. But happening, I think it's just their story. You know, just any information you're getting from the client. It's just that, you know, kind of, you know, I honestly don't know what it is. That's all I use it for when I use it.
Okay. So, okay, well, if I have some information about what's happening with the client, notes on their visit, and things like this, what I would do, depending on how detailed the information is, but I would put it in the description, especially in their first visit when they come to see you. If they're telling you, you know, when are they kind of ready to buy, what are they looking for, you know, those kind of things I would put in the description. You also have the background and notes area down here, and you can kind of put some additional information there as well. So that's my recommendation for where you want to put the happening and the notes on the visit is in here. And you may say, you know, okay, so that's a valid example of what they need. They're looking to relocate. They're relocating. They need a quick move in. They want to get in the house before the school year starts. So there you go. Now, what I also noticed on here is you have a place for call dates and emails, so maybe some history, you know, some things that you've done with them. I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, well, look, I'm as an agent, after they left, I emailed them a list of available homes or lots or whatever, and I did that today after they left. So I'm going to go ahead and go in and say in the history, I need to add a history and say emailed list of available homes. And I'm a horrible typer and speller, but Google allows you to correct that. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure you're aware of is these activity types are somewhat important because there's reports in the system, and Gary and Lisa are probably going to be running these reports on, and basically they report on all the activity and traffic through the models and through the communities. And it's categorized by type. So if I'm sending out an email, I want to say email. If I left them a voicemail, you want to say left voicemail. If I made a phone call and I talked to them, I made a phone call and talked to them. Now, do you guys call a return visit a be back? I forget.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. That's really important. So if they come back for a second visit, tracking that information and reporting the second visit is critical for the traffic reports. So we have an activity type of be back in here for that. And we can rename that if you need to, but that's what the default is. But in this case, I'm going to say, look, I emailed them a list of available homes today after they left, and it included all planned van go specs as an example. Okay, now I've added history. So there I've got the history in there. And that's pretty much it for getting that person in there. Now, again, the follow-up plan, you can see that one automated email is gone now because it was completed and was added to the history. But there's several tasks already queued up. I guess today's the 7th. That would be due tomorrow on the 8th, and then there's one on the 10th, and so on and so forth, all the way out until April 21st. But this is what the follow-up plan looks like. And you will get an email alert when those tasks are past due, sent to the email address under my profile. And you'll also see, I'm going to go to the dashboard here, and I'm sorry for it being slow, but GoToMeeting does that, that I have calendar appointments on here for my tasks. And they also show up here in your list of tasks on the dashboard. So you can see all the way out till April 21st, all the tasks. And it puts the name of the lead, by the way, right in here as we typed it in, so you know who that's for, because you're going to get a whole bunch of kind of generic handwritten thank you, invitation to come back tasks. So what we do to distinguish that one from the other ones is we put the name of the lead right in here for you. So we use the software ourselves, obviously, and that really helps me when I have 20 follow-up call tasks in my dashboard. I know who I'm actually trying to call. Now, Lisa wanted me to show you how to complete a task. There's a couple ways of doing that. First of all, I can just check it off, and you'll see that it disappeared from my dashboard. Okay, so if I go into that lead, you'll see that under the history, that was done now. So I checked it off, and it moved into the history. Now, you can also, I'm sorry for giving you probably a little bit too much information here, but you can click on the task and drill down into it, and you can see that we've provided you with the contact information here. And what you can do is just set it to complete, okay? And then it goes to the history. So those are two really easy ways of doing it. I'm going to give you a third. There's more ways, but I don't want to confuse things too much. I'll give you a third way, and that is when you're in the lead itself and you go to the follow-up plan, you can click on the task and say done. Set it to complete. And now, when you're back in that lead, you can see that that's in the history too. So I'm going to stop there and let you ask questions, and then after we answer the questions, then you can go and enter your information, and then I'll be here to answer those questions as well.
Anybody with any questions? No?
Did you guys talk
I
about
know. I did such a good job of explaining everything. So
It
if anybody
Actually,
has any
did.
questions-
I mean, it makes it so much, just visualizing it and walking through it step by step does make it so much easier.
Okay. I appreciate that. Well, it's really easy for me to do because I'm very familiar with the software, so I don't know how it comes across, but I appreciate that feedback. I'm here for you to help you. We've got plenty of time, so I can answer any questions you have. We are still going to cover, before we're done, the changing the statuses, and we can go through and assign a follow-up plan to an existing lead as well. We probably ought to talk about how to handle the web leads, assigning a task follow-up plan to an existing lead, and updating the status. We have covered the others except for this, which you're going to do now. Okay, I'll turn it over to you guys to spend a little time maybe logging in and entering the information, and then you can just fire questions at me, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Sounds great. Thanks, Dave.
We're actually going to do that? Everybody's on a computer, are they?
It's up to you. I mean, if you, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Rod. I mean, if you've got one of your leads in front of you, go ahead and start data entering, and this is the opportunity as you're doing it to ask some questions if you don't have any, and if you have any questions regarding it as you're doing it.
Will we see that entry? What we're going to do, minimize this, and then actually go into the website?
Yeah, you can minimize the webinar. Yeah, sure, or the GoToMeeting.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
Okay, I got to turn you up again here. Amongst my group that I have in my office here, viewing, just a general question. In the scenario where we have a hot prospect in our model, and we don't necessarily, we are responding to them, and they've left our model, we're sending them information by email, floor plans, whatever they're hot, we want to get them going. And we have already thanked them and done essentially what that auto email is doing and generating. Can we stop that from going by simply going into the task and clicking and it's done? So that they're not getting a text or email that's more generic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The short answer is yes. And let me talk about something that we added to help with that as well. So let me just look at the follow-up plans here. When we set up the follow-up plans, this is what the follow-up plan looks like. We have this welcome email. We can actually set a reminder, maybe 30 minutes before, an hour before, that will send you an email that says, "Hey, this email is about to go out." And then what you can do is pretend like this one is in the task list. You can go in and you can look at it, say, "Oh, I don't want that one to go out," and then all you have to do is pretend like this is the follow-up plan, pretend like this is an automatic email. You can click into it and just delete it. You can just say delete, or you can say cancel. Okay.
So
and then it will not go out. Okay.
Okay. So just so I'm clear, so are you building in, it's not in there currently, but you will be building in a delay, if you will. Oh, no, wait a minute. You have to hit, in order for that email to go out, you have to hit save, don't you?
Yes.
Okay. So as long as we're not hitting save, that email's not going out. Then we can go into the tasks bar for our follow-up plan and essentially delete it.
That's right. Or cancel, or I would say delete, because cancel actually shows up in your history, and there's a reason for that. But just, I mean, frankly, I would just delete it. Just get rid of it.
Great.
And get it out of your hair, and that way it's not in there. And the reason, and just to give you a little background, the reason why we put a canceled task in the history is because a lot of times a prospect will come in and they will not provide an email address or a phone number, and the task may say call this person or email this person, and if you don't have their email address, then you can't do it. But then what happens is a sales manager will run a report and say, I don't see that you're doing any of the follow-up, and then the agent says, well, I don't have a phone number, or I don't have an email address. And that's the whole reason why we allow you to cancel a task versus delete a task. Just to give you some background on that. You know, Sherry has a question here. I don't want to jump ahead, but a quick question about how do I see customers once they become a customer and not a lead? That's a really good question. So what happens, and let's use this as a training exercise as well, because one of the things that we want to do here is we want to take a prospect and set their status to contract signed and then closed, and then we can show you how to do the lost sale too. But let's say that one we just entered here as an exercise, they're still a prospect, okay? They're an active lead. Now I'm going to go ahead, and if they sign a contract under the status area, I can say contract signed, and you'll see that it put the actual contract date in here. All right. Now, coincidentally, wow, look, all my follow-up tasks are gone. It cleans up the follow-up tasks for you because you don't have to do them anymore. They've signed a contract. Now, they're still a prospect in the system because they can bust out, or they could not qualify for financing or whatever, and then you might set them back to a prospect again. But let's say they have completed the process and they've closed on the home. You'll go in and set the status to closed, and now you'll see that the actual close date is set. Now, this crazy guy, Dave Knowles, has been changed to a contact type of customer versus a prospect. And Lisa, Sherry, I'm going to answer your question in a second on how you find them. I went in and looked at additional information for this contact, and you can see that they're now a customer. But they're not going to be on your dashboard anymore because they're gone. They're not a prospect anymore. They're now a customer. If you need to find them, I'm waiting for the system to catch up. If you need to find them, there's two ways of doing it. You can go under CRM, manage contacts, because they're now a customer, and you can sort by customer, and you can find them that way. They're still in the database. Here I am right here. That's one way. The other way, and this is my favorite way because it's quick and easy, is there's a search bar up here in your upper right-hand corner of your screen. You just type in their name. And you can also type in their email address, by the way, if you have an email address for them. And you see that here. Well, I'm in here a couple of times. Sorry, we did some testing. But this is the contact. Oh, interestingly enough, the spouse is in there too. The lead information is in there, and the contact information is in there. So you can find them that way as well. Sherry, I hope that answers your question. Sherry, what community are you?
Dave?
Is Sherry? Yeah.
Sorry, I was on mute. So here's the interesting thing. So when I went in and just put in, contract, basically that a contract was written.
Okay.
And I saved it.
Uh-huh.
But they haven't closed, right? So now I'm trying to find them in the system. And
gotcha. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Sherry. That's an awesome question. And let me go right to that. What community are you assigned to again, by the way, Sherry?
It should be Nickel Creek, Chaska.
One more time.
Nickel Creek.
Oh, Nickel Creek. Both
and Nickel Creek 4.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so what happens when you put them under contract is they're no longer an active prospect anymore from a sales standpoint because you're still working them. I'm sorry, because you don't really need to work them. They've kind of gone through the sales process, and you've put them under contract. But you can see if they're under contract. Let me take this one as an example. I'm going to put this guy under contract, and I'm going to go back, and you can see that he's gone. Okay, because he's under contract, he's not an active lead anymore, which is exactly what happened to you, Sherry. So if I need to go back and find this guy, I can do the search up here, but I can also go in and go into Manage Leads under CRM, and then find the ones that are under contract and pull them up. So here he is.
Oh.
And I apologize. That's not an obvious thing because obviously you asked the question, so it's not obvious. But the point of the dashboard is to have your active leads on it because those are the ones you're working on getting into the contract phase. But again, if you need to find them, manage leads or search are the ways to do it because again they're removed from your dashboard once they're under contract. Okay.
Can I ask one more quick question?
Yeah, sure.
So, because here's what I see, which would be kind of cool. is I could actually manage all my process with my client in here because I can add documents. Is that open for us? So like if I wanted to attach a purchase agreement or an okay
Yes.
to start or something like that.
Yep. Yes, it is. So let me go into this prospect again. And you can add any document or photo under the Documents and Photos tab of that prospect. So it stores it on our system, so you can access it from home or you can access it from the model or from the office or wherever you are. But yeah, you can attach. Let me try to pick one.
Anything.
I don't know what I'm about to attach here, but I'm doing it anyway.
Gloria.
So this is, let's just say this is a scanned contract as an example, and you can pick a category for it if you need to. That's not really necessary, but let's just, okay, and so I'm done. Okay, now you have the document attached to this lead, and then you can go view the document. Oh, this is a signature that we scanned in.
Cool.
But,
thank you.
yep, and that stays with it the whole time. I wanted to make a comment here about the dashboard. This just occurred to me because we were talking about those automated emails. In your list of open tasks on your dashboard, the automatic emails will not show up there. I want to be really clear about that. They will not show up on your dashboard. And the reason for that is you don't have to do them. So we don't bother you with it. So if you need to go find an automated email, you can go into the prospect or you can go under CRM Manage Tasks and you can find it that way.
David?
Okay.
David?
Yes, sir.
This is Rod Boone. I have a question. So if I have a buyer or potential buyer that comes in and they sign a contract on their first visit, God willing, that initial email is off the table when I go into contract sign.
Good question. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's let's do a test on that. I want to make sure. Yeah, let's go ahead and enter them.
The reason I'm asking,
Okay.
David, is that if we go back and backload customers that we've already done business with to create a list,
Right.
we don't want a bunch of emails being sent out to buyers that have already closed.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna go ahead and I want to just make sure that when we create a new lead, and what you'll need to do is you'll set them status to contract signed initially. You know what? Let me sign out and log into the demo account real quick and do this. If this does not work, I have a better answer for you. Now, the best way to ensure that no emails would go out is to not select a follow-up plan. But I don't like that answer necessarily because you may forget, right? It's you have a default plan set, and if you forget to select it, then the plan is going to be applied, and that's not fair to you because it's easy to forget. So I'm going to test new prospect under contract, and then I'll just put, and I'm going to set them to contract signed. I'm going to have a follow-up plan. Now remember, this is the test account. And then I'm going to go enter more information. And let's see here. Yeah, that applied a follow-up plan, even though they're under contract. Here's what I would do if this is acceptable to you. When I create that prospect, Okay. Go ahead and create them. Okay. Let's assume a plan will be applied by default. I'm going to leave the status to prospect. I'm going to go in and enter more information, and then I'm going to put them under contract. If that works for you, that's how you would do it. Now you don't have any follow-up tasks associated with it.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks for that. That was a good question. Thanks for that.
You bet.
Hey, Dave, this is my last question, too. So once we have somebody that's got the contract signed, it shows like what the expected close date. So if I put the expected close date for somebody in there, let's just say June 30th, and then they're going to go away on me, is it going to come back on like June 30th and ask me to put the actual contract date in so I can change that, or will I just have to remember that on my own when they close to go back and find them and change that date?
Yeah, there's no alerts around that at the moment on expected close date. Once they actually close, because there's so many moving parts with a close date. You know, it rarely does it happen right on that date. Which you guys know. I mean, you know this business better than I do. Now you actually have to go in and when they do close, set them to closed, and you'll set the actual close date. There is not a reminder around that. These are good questions, by the way. Are there any more questions?
So far. Anybody else? Rod, are you? Oh, good. Rod, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Can you hear me?
Questions out there, folks? Otherwise, we can cut the meeting and go from there.
There was one item on the agenda that we didn't cover, and that's how to assign a follow-up plan to an existing lead. That's real easy to do. What you need to do is once you're in the lead, go to the follow-up plan task tab here, and you can add the plan right from here. So it's that easy. Just select this plan, and boom, there you go. You've got the tasks. And that happens sometimes. You know, maybe you put them under contract, and then they bust it out, and you have to move them back and apply a follow-up plan. There also may be a time when we create plans that you want to apply after they go under contract. Actually, I think by the time you get to that point, we'll have the follow-up plans associated with the status, so when you change the status, the plans automatically get applied. But for now, you have to manually add a plan if you need to. But that's how it's done.
Great. Anything else, people? Any other